Hello, everyone. This is Adam Meister, the BitcoinMeister, the Disrupt Meister. Welcome to the Beyond Bitcoin Show. Today is December the 14th, 2020. Strong hand, only the beginning. Buying over crying. Personal responsibility is new counterculture. Buy and hold. This game is not rigged. Golden age of the 2020s. It's been a great year, dude. It has been. If you're a long-term thinker, Bitcoin is the next Bitcoin in motion. 5-digit realm. I'm offended by something. Hey, compete. Don't complain. Conviction. We're going to talk about being a unique beast today. Fitting in is overrated. Hello, my elite friends. Do you have questions? Type in BitcoinMeister or do a super chat to get my attention. Robert sent me a super chat yesterday's show, which was not a live show. Thank you, dude. Thank you. People watch yesterday's show, disruptmeister.com. This Week in Bitcoin was great with Nico, Keep It Simple Bitcoin, and Christian. It's all linked to below, people. You got to do your homework. Follow me on Twitter at TechBalt, TECHBALT. Well, it's been this show got delayed until Monday. It was an eventful weekend. One day I walked 10 miles. Another day I ran 12 miles. So you gotta be in motion. I hadn't run 12 miles in quite some time. I try to keep it under 10 because I only run 20 miles a week, or I try to. So these first 2 weeks in Phoenix, I've run like 25 miles a week. And again, you don't really want to get over 25 miles. It's not beneficial after 25, some people say, but I might have even gotten over 25 at one point. All right, so let's talk about someone that I don't think I've really ever talked about him much. And I see there's already a question over there. We'll get to it. It's a Bitcoin-related question, but I'm going to talk about Bill Gates. So Alex Berenson tweeted out something very interesting about Bill Gates. So at what point are the rest of us going to tire of billionaires whose lives are completely unaffected by lockdowns, school closures, and travel restrictions, and all the rest, telling us good little proles that we just have to wait a few more months? And so Bill Gates was on the news, I believe, on Sunday morning, spreading the word. Even through 2022, we should be prepared for life to not return to normal. Says, sadly, it's appropriate for bars and restaurants to close over the next 4 to 6 months. Oh my. So I don't believe it's any conspiracy on his part. I do believe the media loves to put him out there because everybody thinks, well, he's the richest man in the world. He's so smart, and he is smart. We need to listen to whatever he says because everyone is in the authoritarian mindset now. The virus has, all the screaming Karens have flocked to authoritarianism. But no, most people cannot afford to shut down their entire lives. He is living in a fantasy world, and maybe he realizes it. I mean, he wants influence, okay? There's no doubt he wants influence. A lot of people want influence. When you're the richest dude on the planet, what else can you have? So he is a person who wants influence. He wants people to listen to him. He thinks, he knows best. All those regular poor people, sure, they might not be able to afford it like he can, but in the long run, they'll be happier. No, they won't. And we need, when you're hearing numbers like 2022, come on, man. I'm not sitting here quiet when Bill Gates is talking about life not being normal till 20. Life could be normal tomorrow if people weren't just scared of all this nonsense. He is adding to the panic prison there. And no, it's not appropriate for bars and restaurants to close for the next 4 to 6 months. No, it's not. You want them to starve? The people who own those places? People should have a choice. You are not the dictator of the world. All right, freedom over freaks like that dude, for God's sakes. he lives by, it's the guilt that is ingrained in so many people, and people have to rid themselves of this guilt that you need to sacrifice for other people. And if people call you out on not sacrificing for other people, you should feel bad. You as an individual, you don't matter. And that is wrong. That is, people get it through your head. Be a unique beast. Sacrificing for the collective, sacrificing for Bill Gates, sacrificing for people you don't know is destructive, is self-destructive. Now, I will say this. He needs, if he doesn't know about the following tweet, and not everything's linked to yet below, and great job, Alex Berenson, for calling out him. Alex Berenson is a much better person to listen to about the current event situation than Bill Gates in his fantasy world. Now, percent of employed adults saying that regardless of their current work arrangement, their job responsibilities can be done from home. So this is split up by class. Lower income, say 23%, middle income, say 37%, and upper income, say 56%. So that makes a lot of sense. If you are already wealthier, if you already have a higher paying job, it's easier for you to transition your way of life from working in an office to your house. All right? So it's who suffers the most through all this, through extending this through 2022? Lower income people. Only 23% said they can do work from home as easily as from where they did it previously. All right. Now, I will say that I enjoy, personally, I've been living a remote lifestyle for many, many years. I don't have to go to an office. And something positive that has come out of this is that a lot of people have realized that, yeah, this Zoom internet lifestyle, I don't have to commute anymore. I don't have to, and commuting wasted so many people's time. Dozens of hours of monthly commute times replaced with a higher rate of interaction. So Vinny Lingham was talking about this. And yeah, it's much better spending your time really interacting with people and just being more efficient at your job than being in a car and trying to avoid accidents and just being unhealthy, sitting on your tuchus. At the very least, getting rid of a commute, you can set up a standing desk at your house, and that's healthier on your body than just sitting there in a commute. And I have not had a commute for years. I mean, when visiting Baltimore before 2020, and I would have to drive somewhere, and I would get stuck in a traffic jam because there are no more traffic jams in Baltimore, unfortunately, because of the lockdown madness. Well, not unfortunately, but on a certain, I wish people were working instead of holed up, stared in their houses. But yeah, I would always be sickened by getting stuck in commutes in Baltimore, even though I would only get, because I'm rarely home in Baltimore. I have no home, but that's where I'm from originally, for all you newbies out there. But even the few times a year I would be stuck in traffic in Baltimore, 1, 2, 3, 4 times a year, it would sicken me. So I don't wish that upon anyone, and I'm glad people can avoid that now and be more efficient. Now, I want everyone to pound that like button and retweet this. I just put in Sunday's show. Well, you'll see Thomas Hunt. It was his show that actually debuted on Friday. For those of you who want the opposite of my Twitter feed, go to Thomas's. When it comes to some of you will vomit if you read it. But Thomas he's a good guy deep down. I do not agree with him on the virus stuff. I am 100% opposed, but that's not what the show was about. Taval says, do you think California will ever be the same again? It looks like Elon has started the trend of moving to Texas. Well, yes, quite a few wealthy people have taken their businesses out of California. So they will have to adapt eventually to, either they'll have to tax people more, or they will have to lower their taxes or change their policies. So they're coming to a fork in the road. How about that? They're coming to a fork in the road. So it will not be this. They can't continue doing things the way they're doing things. Either they're going to have to hurt the people there more, or revert to how it used to be in the 70s there, okay? When they were really encouraging innovation, when they did not have the ridiculous regulations and rules and nonsense that they have. Now, something I was going to mention, it shows like the recall Gavin Newsom thing is gaining a little bit of mainstream attention. I saw it somewhere. So they're not, looks like he's got some enemies in the mainstream media if they're actually talking. So I encourage the recall of Gavin Newsom. I mean, it sets a precedent for these dictatorial governors that they can't get away with it. Even if the recall fails, if it starts to gain some sort of momentum, he'll change his ways. He goes where the wind blows. I mean, he has no principles at all. So a good question, Taval. Let's go to the question that involved. So someone asked me if I thought dollar cost averaging into with 0.01 Bitcoin with 0.1 Bitcoin was good. I lost the first part of your question there, Crypto Rodolphus. You said fight against inflation, pension funds recovery. Well, yeah. If you can only dollar cost, yes, you're fighting against inflation by dollar cost averaging into Bitcoin and just getting 0.1 Bitcoin. That'll help you a little bit. Yeah, sure. Aim for one, but yeah, it's better than having a pension. Definitely. I mean, this is the thing. The pension funds, okay, I'm going to twist your thing around a little bit here. If you have a corporate pension fund, you work for Alcoa or something, I don't know, and they're promising to pay you $30,000 a year, and maybe you already started getting that $30,000 a year, but it's not adjusted to inflation, or it's turn that 30 that you're much better having it all your freaking cash into Bitcoin, because in the future when you're getting paid $30,000 a year from Alcoa, that's going to hardly get you anything in 2040. Okay, so start. You got to make up your own personal retirement plan with Bitcoin. Bitcoin, the equivalent of buying $30,000 of Bitcoin today. My lord, you'll be in great shape in terms of your retirement in 2040 with that $30,000 worth of Bitcoin that you got today. So all you do is rely on your corporate pensions. If you've already started, don't rely on your corporate pensions. If you already started receiving those corporate pensions, start turning them into Bitcoin, but make your own Bitcoin pension plan. You can't rely on these third parties, be it the government or being even private businesses that you thought were going to treat you so well in the future in your old age. Personal responsibility is the new counterculture in every single aspect of your life. And Roman Q says there is a third option with Kamala as president. A federal bailout of California would Californize the rest of the country. Well, first of all, you don't need Kamala to be president. We're going to talk about that in a second. Biden is going to bail out all the states. All the states are going to get bailed out. They're going to get tremendous, but that's still California. That's only a temporary solution. That's once all the states get bailed out in some form or fashion, it's going to create tremendous. It's going to create noticeable inflation. Okay, so they're going to be back to square one, and people are going to be moving out of there. It's not going to improve quality of life for a noticeable period of time. So that's just the federal. There will be most likely some sort of federal bailout of all the states that have been irresponsible for quite some time, but it's a temporary solution. It's rearranging the decks on the chairs on the Titanic. There, I mean, you're bringing about noticeable inflation to the whole country, and that is not a positive for California or any state. All right, let's get back to. But I'm liking these questions. Spread the word on Twitter. We don't. It's the Beyond Bitcoin show. Some people are confused that what's going on. Why they're not tuning in like they should be. And anyway, if you're watching this tape, which is fine, play it at 2x. Now I talked about the Zoom way of life. That's cool. It's made people more efficient. Now, something that is a new precedent. If you really spend all this time worrying about elections and whatnot, and don't, because they are a waste of time. But the precedent was started in 2016. The Democrats were so unhappy that Trump became president that people in the upper echelon of the Democratic Party and in the mainstream media, they're intertwined, started the Russia interference narrative on Facebook. Because it was a close election, so they needed an excuse, and it was such a mindless excuse. So Russians bought advertising on Facebook, and that influenced people in the Midwest. I mean, it's so ridiculous, but they kept going with it and going with it and going with it, and just saying it cannot be true. He could not have won. He could not have won. Russia, Russia, Russia. All right. So we got into this paradigm where clear lies people thought were the truth. People lost reality of what truth is. When an election happens, it's pretty straightforward. Okay. He won. All right. You're a spoiled sport. You came up, but it set the precedent so that the next election, if there was a different result, the other side would come up with excuses, screaming. So from now on, for every close election, there are going to be excuses. There are going to be conspiracies. There's going to be no truth anymore. Okay? Now, of course, in both elections, well, first of all, buying ads on Facebook is not systemic election fraud. It's not anything. A dude in Detroit throwing away some ballots, that's real, but it's probably minor, okay? Some Ukrainian buying ads on Facebook, that's nothing. That's just private. That's not directly influencing the election. I personally believe that foreign powers, if they want to waste money advertising in the United States on elections, they should be allowed to. People should be smart enough to not be like, "Ooh, I saw a billboard, so I must vote for Trump or I must vote for Clinton." It would be a great way for all these foreign entities to waste money and make people in America, marketing agencies would become wealthier, okay? All sorts of things. Productivity would come here. I have no problem with foreign countries spending money buying advertising. Now, people throwing away ballots, no, that is illegal. All right, that's destroying the election integrity right there. But the precedent was set in 2016. The Facebook crying, the Russia, Russia, Russia. So every time from now on, there's no truth anymore. There's no truth. So every election that's close, someone's going to come up with an excuse. Someone will try to, and if they go through legal means to try to prove their case, that's fine. If there's just a bunch of screaming Karens on the media for 4 years, that's pretty annoying. So you just get tired of that narrative and just avoid those media entities. It's a reminder that where truth is disappearing more and more in this modern world, you don't know what truth is. There's only really one place, and that's in Bitcoin, the security truth machine. There are only going to be 21 million. Oh yeah, I tied it back into Bitcoin in some way. Now, talking about the Biden-Harris administration, which is going to start in January, I want everyone to, and I alluded to this before, Biden is not some radical, okay? And she goes wherever the wind blows, all right? She stands for nothing. So the corporate media, the corporate entities out there, they don't truly believe in all the BLM nonsense that's going on out there. They don't want their gated communities to be invaded and their houses burnt down and a redistribution of their mansion to some bum on the street of LA. They don't want that. All right. They don't want communism. these people. Now there are some people in the country that do want that. All right, there are true radicals out there, but and maybe AOC really wants that. I don't know. Maybe and Bernie Sanders probably really wants communism and such things. But the tech bros helped get him elected. All right, get Biden elected. The Silicon Valley corporate Dem types. Okay, they're going. That's what the Biden team is going to be made of. Okay, it's not going to be radicals. Now, it's funny though. It's so funny that the people that are kind of in between the people that are just blind worshipers of Democrats and they're just happy that the D is there, and then like the people that do want radical change, they are satisfied with like simple racial politics. Like the people behind Biden, they know what they're doing. They're nominating like, ooh, this long-term Hispanic bureaucrat, this long-term gay bureaucrat, this long-term black bureaucrat. These old names, putting them in positions of power, and they're saying the radicals will be appeased by this. And you know what? Some are. Some are. They're so stupid, these people. They stand for nothing. They just see a face that's the same color as them. Or even though that person has nothing to do with them at all, they're a long-term bureaucrat, wealthy off the government, living a happy life, but they're like, ooh, one of us is in the Biden administration. I'm happy now. I'm not going to complain anymore. They're people, but hardcore radicals, it's not going to work for them, all right? But how many hardcore radicals are there, all right? So this is the way his corporate Dem administration is set up. It's very easy to appeal the masses. You put in some minority faces, and they feel, oh, I'm there. Oh, it's all over. Trump's gone. Oh, the world is better. I'm getting wealthier. No, you're not getting wealthier. Nothing's changed in your own personal life just because somebody of your race is in there. You had all these complaints beforehand, and now you're satisfied. It just shows how you're just a follower and you're compliant. And if they tell you to be angry, you're going to be angry. If they tell you to be calm because there's a Hispanic guy that's secretary of blah, 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 you're going to be calm. You're pathetic. And that's what the 80%ers are. Pound that like button. And but to all the people who are scared, this is the end of the world. Biden is president. No, it's not. It's not. It's something like Obama or Clinton or whatever. And those people that were rioting before, they're going to be calmer, in fact. Some. But there are going to still be some hardcore people out there, and I wish AOC well. I hope she does try to rip apart the Democratic Party and get people riled up within her own party. It's only going to hurt their own. Biden being president is only going to hurt the internals of the Democratic Party. It's not going to hurt the nation, okay? And the only way it will hurt is if the radicals start gaining more power in the Democratic Party. That's not my cup of tea. I don't care what goes on over there. I'm not in the Democratic Party. I am a registered Democrat, but I'm not in there. Because when I was 20 years old, I registered as a Democrat. I never changed it. Who gives a darn? It means, and I'm never going to change it just to show you how meaningless it is. How meaningless it is to have a card that says you're a Democrat. What is important is what principles you stand on, not what tag you're given, what card is on your election, what it says on your freaking election card that they don't even check when you walk in there. They don't even check if you're really Adam Meister, the Democrat or whatever. So now one thing that is important in the Georgia special election, if for some crazy reason the Senate, both Republicans lose there, and the Senate is 50-50, then there could be some more. But Joe Manchin from West Virginia, who's a Democrat, says he will not approve of court packing and things like that. I don't think it's even going to get to that. But it's so funny. These tech heads in Silicon Valley, they want to punish themselves, and this makes it feel good because Biden and Harris will promote some tax policies that are going to be very bad for some of the dudes in Silicon Valley. But they feel guilty. They're not helping other people enough. They were too successful. They were too individualistic. They were unique beasts. At their core, they are taught they must sacrifice for others. So Biden will help them sacrifice for others. So they will be happy. This is why they vote and they throw money at what is against their best self-interest. It's sickening. people don't do, even the wealthiest of the wealthy, in the end of the day, sometimes, not all of them, but lots of them, they do what they sacrifice for others, what is against their own self-interest. Now, the vice president's son is named Hunter, and now people are talking about his tax situation. It's out there. Oh, it was fake news beforehand. It was supposedly a lie. It wasn't. It was the truth. But the media bros, the social media bros, they shut it down, and thus Biden owes them a lot. And so there will be, I predict his administration, in order to pay back the tech bros, will be relatively friendly toward tech. So all of us in the Bitcoin land, we're in tech, so it should be all right. It should be. You shouldn't worry that he's going to try to do some kind of tech smackdown. Now he might try to break up Facebook, but maybe he won't, because Mark Zuckerberg can say, "Hey, I did this for you." I mean, I'm sure he did something for him. Trying to break up Facebook is wrong, by the way. It's a private. There's nothing. Compete, don't complain. I just want to put that on. I know the Trump administration, it seems like people are moving forward with that now. No, antitrust is for weak people. Okay, the only bad monopolies are enforced by governments. All right, you're not going to have monopolies if you don't have governments making all these weird rules. Okay, there's always going to be people that are be able to compete and create other solutions. So just wonder that. Don't be a panic-stricken person that thinks you need the government to tell you when companies should be broken up and what a monopoly is. Now, so with Biden, so even CNNs of the world are talking about this tax situation here. Now, why is this going on? Is this, and I mentioned this a while ago, this will be used, perhaps, to bring in Kamala as president, okay? They'd rather have her. She makes them feel so warm because she's not some old white man, because all these people, all these white people in the media feel guilty about they should be proud of who they are as individuals, but they're so caught up in this racial nonsense that they hate themselves because of their race, and so they see a guy. Okay, they got rid of Trump. Now they see this old white dude and like, I don't feel good enough. I don't feel like I've done enough. So let's get her. Let's get this lady of many races, and she's a lady. Let's get her in there, and then we'll feel better. And so we could talk about this Hunter thing, because obviously now he's bad. Now Biden is bad, and so it might be. This might be the first sign of bringing down Biden, and I mean his health is deteriorating anyway. So there's a lot of different ways this could go. 25th Amendment, all sorts of things. Or he could just resign. I mean, he maybe it's just a deal that he has the back door anyway. Like, hey, you get to be president for a few days. You don't get to embarrass me about my son. And then I'll resign and let this woman be president. And then, in the history books, they'll remember me. I don't know. But this could be laying the foundation to remove Biden. This is a quote from a comment section somewhere. His usefulness to them is about used up, and his baggage is finally being widely exposed. So yeah, I mean, if he were to remain president, this baggage thing, it could, they could be it could be a big distraction, and a lot of people just want there to be good, glowing, warming feelings around the Democrats. So you don't want to have this Biden son Chinese whatever is going to come about this. Now, for all you people who are really who knows, maybe I don't know, it could bring, I don't know how tied in Kamala is to all this stuff. I mean, she could be brought down too in theory. We've heard all this weird stuff about Chinese targeting California officials. That's a different we won't get, I'm not too worried about it. I already have it in my mind, and you should get it in your mind too, that Kamala is going to become president of the United States. When Biden won the election, that was already in my mind. Get used to it. You shouldn't be angry. You shouldn't let it distract from your own personal productivity. Okay, it's just politics. All right. And what I said before, she's part of the Democrat corporate team. Also, they're not going to try anything too radical. And yes, leave comments let's mess with the Facebook algorithm. I haven't been doing a great job of replying to all your comments lately. I just haven't had time. But you leave. The algorithm messes with us. We mess with the algorithm. I want to share with you a message I got from the Baltimore City Health Department. I don't even know how I get on this list. But before I share you this message, I'm just seeing, oh God, there are a lot more questions here. All right, we'll get to those questions in a second. They're financial questions, but let's go to a flu-related text. Hi, it's Christina with the Baltimore City Health Department. The virus has us all worried. I'm not saying the name of the virus, but a flu shot can help protect you and your loved ones from another serious illness. Visit this URL for more information. Would you like a free flu shot? What's going on? Why is the Baltimore City Health Department sending out messages to give people free flu shots and at the same time talking about the virus? And how did I get on this list? I don't know. It just government's looking out for you. I mean, maybe they're trying to just normalize that shot so other people take the future shot, which is they're showing pictures of people so happy taking their virus shot. Oh, it's so pathetic. All right, so yeah, Baltimore City promoting. And a reminder to everyone, I have never taken a flu shot, never felt the need to take a flu shot. I'm a healthy dude. It always has some side effects. It doesn't always work that well. And now people want you to take something that is like exponentially different and riskier, should we say. Now, Taval says, I know you don't do stocks. I sure don't. But the new trend seems to be psychedelic stocks. Have you used LSD before? And whether you have or not, do you foresee microdosing LSD going mainstream? Yeah, I never used LSD before. I do see microdosing of LSD going mainstream because there's a lot of dudes in Silicon Valley that are already doing it. But I don't know about stock. We had the pot stock trend before. So I never heard about psychedelic stocks yet. But Taval, I'm sure it will be psychedelic stocks, if they do exist, will be the next pot stocks that people all jump into. They think it's the hottest thing, all this speculation. And it's just a distraction. You should just be in Bitcoin instead. Because in the long run, those things are just trendy, that pop high, and then most of them crash. Donald Trump, thank you for the question, though, Taval. Donald Trump, or Donald 45, Trump 45 says, do you think Bill Gates helped create the virus to sell the cure? No, absolutely not. He did not create any virus. He has helped fund cures for it. That there is no doubt about it. But there is no way that this came about naturally. And you know what? It might have been around a lot earlier than we even think. And what happened was people in China created a hysteria around it. They realized it wasn't as scary as it really needed to be. It's not that scary. They continued to sell it to the whole world as a power play, and everybody bought it all up. There's a natural tendency in some people, and a lot of people, to be scared of the unseen, to be scared of disease, and just to blindly become compliant because of it. It's really insane. But no, this was not something that was, and there is an option out there that it was created in a lab from natural viruses. Someone was experimenting on trying to create a vaccine for something else. It was not created as a weapon, though. I want to say that. It wasn't created as a weapon. It wasn't created to do to create this hysteria. All right. If it was created. All right. Because there are two options. That it really did come from some animal, or it came from some animal. They were playing it around with in a dirty freaking lab in China, and it got out, and oh well, it got out. But since it's related to something that was natural, there's a bunch of people that have natural immunity to it, and thus a version of it was around. And it's not really anything to be. If you're healthy, it's nothing to be scared of. Again, but never let a good crisis go to waste. He's not letting a good crisis go to waste. A lot of people aren't. I mean, he wants to make money. I think his investments will pay off. For him, I think again, it is just like being the hero. Like it's beyond money. It's some guilt that he's trying to appease inside of him, and he just doesn't understand that he's destroying regular people's lives by encouraging these top-down authoritarian dictates. He, when it comes to his own personal business, he was no fan of the authoritative government telling him what to do. But so he's a hypocrite. But he thinks, if it's not his business, it's fine to tell what other. So he stands for little. He doesn't have a truly individualistic backbone. Okay, for certain things, being an individual and a unique beast are cool for him. Other things, there's this whole group mentality. What is best for the world? What is best for the world? He thinks he knows what's best for the world. No one knows what's best for the darn world. Okay, let individuals make up their own minds. Don't be the dictator and ruin people's lives. He's doing a good job, and the media is using him, putting him out there because they love top-down authoritarianism. Is also Roman Q say Kamala becoming president in the next 4 years will guarantee she's top of the 2024. Do you think that she will be as hated as Hillary? If so, the Dems could be stuck with a bad candidate. I think they will be stuck with a bad candidate. It's really hard to predict. I still think there's a chance that both parties will split in some way in 2024. I mean, I don't know, but if she becomes president, yes, she will be the Democratic nominee for president in 2024. If she becomes president between now and then, she will be, unless something really crazy happens. Again, like if they found out it was more than just Eric Swallow in China that was in California that was getting bribed by the Chinese or trying to be influenced by the Chinese. He wasn't bribed by the Chinese. He slept with the Chinese spy. I mean, it's unbelievable. And then he ran for president. But no, there's no way they would really. I'm sure the Democratic establishment, they probably would prefer someone to her. But things can change by then. But they definitely prefer her to Biden. All right, let's move on with the rest of my topics that I had prepared. The virus ushers in a new era of full-time travel. The Wall Street Journal, and I'll link to below, has an article about someone who's sort of like me that just travels from place to place. So I'm glad other people are just, they don't have homes anymore. Awesome. That's what technology does. That's what innovation allows. Now that some people had to wake up because of all this nonsense, okay, that's a positive I bring out of this. And if you do watch yesterday's show, you will see that Mr. Ark, who was on the show with Thomas and I, was just shocked how positive I am about 2020. And him and Thomas both lean politically toward the side of the spectrum where everybody's in a panic prison and they're sad and there is no hope, okay? Even though they're in Bitcoin. Dude, it has been a great year. Look at all the innovation that's come out this year. You don't have to have a home anymore. You can travel from place to place. You can value your wealth in Bitcoin. Bitcoin has done great this year. This is going to be like the third time I said it. If you're looking for a mentor out there, the first question you should ask them was 2020 a good year or 2020 a bad year? If they say it was a good year, that's someone that should be your mentor. All right? That's someone that you should listen to. Positive. All right? If it's someone that says, no, it was a bad year, no, run away. Run for the freaking hills. This is the golden age. This was the first year of the golden age. And I am telling you, it was a gold. People just get obsessed with personal tragedy, with sick people dying. Oh, this person died. This person died. How can I be happy if someone else died? How can it be a good year if someone else died? My glorious grandmother, of blessed memory, died on Rosh Hashanah. You guys all know how much I talked about my grandmother, how much I love my grandmother. She is gone. All right? It was a tragedy. This year still was a great freaking year. Pound that like button. And I'm living it for her and my father and everybody. That's how you do it. You remember the people. You don't say, oh, I'm shutting down because this person's gone. And what all these freakazoids out there want you to do, they don't want you to shut down because your grandma died. They want you to shut down because somebody else's grandma died in Oregon or something like that. That's insane. So I'm showing you, I'm preaching what I live. My own grandmother died. My own, and she didn't die of the virus. It was blood on her brain. She didn't just die right away. All right. So I could think about that. I could say what was going through grandma's mind all those days and stuff, and just be like, I need to shut down, and the whole world should shut down. So that doesn't happen to anybody else's grandmother. That no one else's grandmother has a stroke and she has blood on her brain for 3 days, 4 days, and the mother, her daughter, has to sit with her for all those days. No one should have to go, and no one should have to go through that. Okay. But that's life. It does happen. Tragedies happen. I don't think the whole world should shut down to avoid that situation for another person. I am not telling other people to sacrifice for sadness that happened in my life or whatever. So people have told me, go work in a hospital, Adam. Tell me what it is, and then tell me that the whole world should shut down. What's that got to do with anything, dude? I just told you what my principles are, okay, and what this year has meant to me, and what's happened in my life. You just live for yourself, okay? Sad things happen. The whole world doesn't have to feel for you. And guess what? You can say, I'm happy your grandmother's dead, Adam. That's fine. You can be happy my grandmother's dead. I have no problem with that. That doesn't affect me. That doesn't stop me from being in motion. All these people are so offended by everything that's out there. You should have the freedom of speech to say, Adam Meister, I'm happy your grandmother is dead. I know that is freedom of speech. That doesn't hurt anybody. That doesn't. I mean, sticks and stones can break your bones, but names will never hurt you. We are living in a time where it might be illegal to say something like that. If that made me cry, that you should go to jail or something. That's the freaking screaming Karen world we're living in. So I'm giving you, the ACLU. What the ACLU used to do in the old days, they would defend the worst of the worst people for the you-know-who to march in Skokie, all right? I can't say, I mean, I have no respect for those people who wanted the march in Skokie, the KK, I'm not going to say it. It's the same letter. I just don't want to get... I don't want to please YouTube by saying one of their dirty words so they can do something to my video. But anyway, okay, we went on that. It's been a good year, okay? It's been a good year. You can have sad things happen to you and still realize that you're living your life. And this is the foundation for the next year and the next awesome year and the next awesome year. It just keeps getting better and better. Have that freaking attitude. And just remember, okay, yeah, they're suffering. And remember the good times with the people, okay? And do it for them. Make them proud. Make yourself proud. Most important, of course, pride. Pride. That's a very important thing to have. All right, now, it comes from within. It comes from within. You have to have pride. You don't need the confirmation of other people. Fitting in is overrated. There's some things that people are going to be like, that's so weird. I'm not proud of you. But if it's not, if it's bettering you, you should be proud of yourself. Okay, you don't need the confirmation of other people. So yeah, I am totally fully prepared this year not to travel by plane. If the restrictions get crazy, to not leave internationally. If the restrictions get crazy, I don't anticipate. I don't think domestic travel will be changed in the United States. But this is why you are in mode. This is why you live the in motion lifestyle. I've been to Australia many times. If I'm not allowed to go to Australia for the rest of my life, oh well, okay, I'll find something else. I'll find something better to do. I already went there, okay? And that's why don't get stuck in some depressive doom doom panic prison, all right? Because someone told you should. You live your life. There is a funny video out there. I linked to it below by that guy with the red hair. He's got long red hair. He is hilarious. I don't know his name. It's like the bravery in 2020 video. It's an ironic video where they're saying that they're brave, but everything they're brave about is being scared and being compliant. And, you know, it's brave to freak out when someone sneezes near you. I mean, and that's the new bravery. It's brave to scream at people because they're not as scared as you. That is it. The world, it's an Orwellian definition of what bravery is, according to the mainstream media. And the video is hilarious, and it is linked to below. Awaken with JP. Be brave. I believe that's his name. Thank you, Donald. Let's see what else is going on. All right. What can we say? Oh, wait, jumped to the wrong. Okay, going back. All right, we talked about sacrificing for the state. How this is the new normal, or sacrificing for other people. Not good if you're destroying yourself. Okay, it's ingrained in people. Being an individual. I bring this up because people will continue to worship the dollar, because the dollar, the United States government says the dollar is our currency. It is best for the nation to value your wealth in dollars. It will continue. I just want to bring that up again for all the people that think so many people, the 80%ers, are going to just all of a sudden be in the Bitcoin world. They believe the narrative that is taught to them. Sacrifice for the state, or you're guilty, or you should feel guilty. You're not being a good citizen if you don't do X, Y, and Z, which is, and in this case, it would be the dollar. Avoid Bitcoin, and you will be a good citizen. Many people will do that. And yeah, they are a cog in some sacrifice machine of compliant stupidity. I mean, have you not seen this since February and March? That people gravitate toward that being an individual is an accomplishment, being a unique beast is an accomplishment, that being a sacrificial cog in a machine is the default, apparently. If you have these guilty pangs within you, you have to dig deep in yourself and see why your basic belief system is, why you default to thinking that you need to sacrifice for somebody else's grandmother. Why? Instead of living your life. Why is that? And change that. Try it, and then you will become a unique beast. I want to say Larry Hogan, the governor of Maryland, he is a Republican. He is a drama queen. When I was in Baltimore, someone had the TV on. Well, I was with my mother, and she had the TV on. And I could hear it in the background, him crying because a baby died of the virus. And he's doing this because he doesn't want to get blamed for the baby. It's not his fault that a baby died of the virus or a baby had the virus. It's such a freak occurrence that something like that happens. Now, I don't know all the details of it, but does he cry? Does he have a news conference every time in Baltimore City when a crack baby dies? That happens a lot, all right? And it's very unfortunate when that happens too. Babies die. And sometimes you take advantage of it for political purposes. So you don't get. So even though he was trying to fit in so much by crying for a baby dying, he doesn't cry when the crack babies die, and that does happen. It's very sad. There are many drug addicts in Baltimore City, in Maryland, and they irresponsibly have kids, and their kids die. But so somewhat, even though he's crying and begging for forgiveness from the normies, this is a tweet in the thread where he announced his crying. This is you could have led the way and shut us down and saved us, but you didn't. Why hold a press conference at all? You not helping us, not at all. So this is a real person begging him that he is not led because he hasn't shut down and saved us. This person believes that Larry Hogan, it's his responsibility to save us, and that in order to save, you must shut down the entire economy. It's a real thing right here. So crying and saying, oh, this is so sad. I've done my best to say, no. You've got to go all authoritarianism on everyone. Authoritarianism is acceptable. This is a tweet by a screaming Karen that proves it right there. People now, it's just straight up. There is no shame to it anymore. People, could you have imagined this back in 2019? People just basically saying, I want an authority figure to dictate what my life is, to save me, to save the world. I'm delegating all responsibility of my life because I'm so scared about some plague or something that I'm willing to give up all my freedom. And authoritarian, this is how it happened. Well, this is how it's always possible to come about a situation where you have an authoritarian regime like the ones in Germany that was so horrifying. But because people have this type of, it's the people, their mindset, it's their fault. They're brainwashed. I don't know. It's a default. Collectivism is the default. So that's why I'm encouraging these techniques to go with inside yourself, so you don't become like this person, and you don't become like Larry Hogan either, because he's a collectivist also. So yeah, think back to 2019, and put yourself in your 2019 mindset, and look at what would you say if you could see all the images that are out there today of all these people wearing masks, or all these people elbowing instead of, shaking hands. You would think it was a fake. You would think it was just a joke. You would think this is not real. No. You're just giving me some. This is like a movie that's making fun of what's going to happen in 2020. How can this happen? That locking yourself in your house is normal. Put yourself in your 20. People should go back to their 2019 mindsets, because what's going on out there today, they would all think, well, logical people would think was a complete joke, or just a complete movie, is made up. So 2020, the year that hypochondria got promoted from mental illness to social norm. Hypochondria used to be, people thought it was a mental illness. Now it is the social norm. That's what's happened in 2020. Do not be an 80%er. Pound that like button. Alex Epstein has a great site, energytalkingpoints.com, and it shows you why we need fossil fuel if we're going to have innovation. It's arguments against the climate change hysteria. And just today, Uzbekistan showed us what happens when you don't have innovation, when it comes to when you go backwards, because climate change people, they basically, let's return to nature. What happens when you return to nature? In Uzbekistan, they're burning dung. They're burning dung to stay warm. That's when you go back to nature. If you want to return to the times when you used to burn dung to be warm, then okay, fossil fuels. I understand why you're not into fossil fuels. All right. RFK Jr. has a tweet out there about how he's been defamed. He is suing the Daily Kos because they defamed him. They associated him with a German rally that I can't even say the words they described him as. But he's a public figure, so I'm not into lawsuits and all that stuff. But he's a climate change guy, by the way. He believes in climate change, but he speaks out against the virus, and he speaks out against the shots. All right. So certain people do not like him, Daily Kos, and they defamed him. I mean, they lied about what he said, who he was associated with. They called him an anti-vaxxer and all, and associated him with just a bad group of people. So good. I'm glad you. I mean, I'm not a big lawsuit guy, but so you got to be nuanced with some of these people out there. Again, I don't like his climate change hysteria, but he's got a big name, and he is speaking to some people who wouldn't listen to anybody else. He is speaking to some. He's opening the mind of some Democrats just because he is RFK Jr. They're so blindly obsessed with the Kennedy family that they are opening their minds to, wait, maybe this virus thing isn't as bad as people say, and taking the shot. His big thing is against shots. All right, you know, you got to think before. You can't just blindly follow what the government tells you with some shot, with untested shots. Restaurants in Monaco are almost fully booked until the end of 2021, thanks to the French insanity. The French people shut down their economy, so lots of them just drive up to Mount Monaco to go out to eat. Capitalism will find a way. Pound that like button. Okay, I'm going to save that one for next time. My barber back in Baltimore, I forgot to mention this. He can't get a loan. He can't get loans that he's supposed to get from the government. But the people, whatever it's called, I don't even know what it's called. But like Ilhan Omar, her husband gets money from the government because of the virus. He has to shut down his barber shop, and he can't be and he says all the small businesses that he knows aren't getting the check from the government, but the big businesses get it, and Ilhan Omar's husband gets it. It's just, it's fascism. It's picking winners and losers. It sounds so great. Oh, you're just going to have to shut down for a few weeks and we're going to compensate you for everything. And they don't even get compensated. Who gets compensated? Politically connected people. This is what fascism is. It's authoritarian, arbitrary rules, and your friends of the government, they benefit for a while, and then if you're on the wrong side of the stick, it's really bad. All right, I mentioned that. All right. I want to quickly say, I don't know what Trump's future is here, okay? I think maybe he'll get into a channel that will just basically keep it in people's minds that he could run in 2024. Maybe he'll use the channel to promote a new party. Maybe he'll use the channel to promote other people running. It will be something, I think he's going to try to get back at the mainstream media in some way. I'm disappointed, you know, and now everyone's saying there was corruption in the election. He's saying there was corruption in the election. We knew for months, and I said this on another show, that there was going to be an increase in mail-in ballots, okay? Everyone knew this because of the virus, that states were starting to set it up differently. He knew this. At times, he would sort of mention it. He didn't have the cojones to just draw a line in the sand and say, no, everyone vote the way you used to. Vote, we're doing it. The virus is not that serious where we have to change the whole voting system. All right? The reason people are promoting this change of the voting system because of the virus is because they want to do corrupt things that will make me lose the election, and I'm not standing for it. But no, he had to fit it. He is a guy who cares so much about what other people think about him, about fitting in, that he couldn't put his foot down against the virus, that he couldn't put his foot down against the changing of the way things were being set up for the election. So yeah, now people are finding there was corruption here, there, and everywhere. Why did we even get to this point? It's his fault. It's partially his fault that it got to this point. Okay, I'm not a scapegoater or whatever, but he's the one that's trying to make it seem like there's nothing that he could have done about it or whatever. He could have done something about this. All right. Personal responsibility is he should have took personal responsibility if he wanted to avoid this situation. If he wanted to really win, he should have nipped it in the bud beforehand. Now, in the future, maybe he learned his lessons and he could, on his TV station that he'll buy or whatever he'll have, he can talk this. And a lot of people love to hear things like this. He speaks to a certain part of the population. He's free to say whatever. I have no problem with him saying whatever he wants to say or whatever. In the future, even if he starts to promote secession, fine. But promote secession, put a bunch of options on the table. You know, the Democratic side of things, they put all sorts of they have no shame. They're not embarrassed. They put all sorts of options on the table. The conservative side, the Trump side, whatever you want to say, they didn't put options on the table. They wanted to fit in. They didn't want to be vilified by the media and say, oh, you don't care about grandmas. That's why you're against mail-in voting. Okay? They could have People respect people who take a stand, who have a backbone, who have principles. There was no he could have had principle against the virus and against mail-in voting, but he did not. He did not beforehand. Now it's too late, and he lost. Now, but he still can create a private enterprise that helps him or his family or people who support him in 2024. Good luck. All right, I'm not wasting my time on it or throwing a penny at that nonsense. But this is a free country, and it's his right to express whatever he wants to express and own whatever TV station he wants to own in the future. Or so I don't know what the clear future is going to be for him. And I will say this: I don't think Biden or anyone will go after trying to arrest him or anything like that. That's leading down a really nasty road of third world ways of running a country. The people who talk about arresting Trump are very much on the fringe, or just scream what they're fed. Now, I think a lot of it's empty threats, just empty threats. People who are frustrated that they're so helpless that they can't control their own lives, that they want to get some revenge on someone. So they're like, "Oh, Trump will be arrested." No, make yourself better instead of giving some guy some fake crimes and then you feeling good that he got thrown in a cage. That doesn't do anything for you. All right, we'll do this next time. There's okay. That we'll do next time. That one we'll do next time. Yeah, we talked about that. Unfortunately, the virus has made authoritarianism much more acceptable. This knock left this comment. This is hilarious comment. I think all of you will be entertained by this. On the 12th day of Christmas, Adam Meister gave to me 12 hexers heckling, 11 likers pounding, 10 thumbnails simping, 9 noise rebuttals, 8 roadside onions, 7 bus stop apples, 6 intro sayings, 5-digit round, 4 salmon heads, 3 dividends, crypto dividends, 2 strong hands, and a show from an Airbnb. That was a great comment, dude. Pound that like button. Great song. Now, and remember, everyone, I'm on Parler at BitcoinMeister. Use the crypto Parler hashtag over there. All right, I was going to talk about preventative medicine and insurance. We'll talk about that next time. But so many Americans are just like, they wait until they're sick. Preventative medicine. There are preventative things you guys can do. There are preventative foods you guys can eat. I consider eating the right foods a form of preventative medicine. People are not down with this. Okay, just most Americans just wait until it's too late. They're like, "Oh, I'm sick. Solve my problem." You can solve your own problem in the past by preventative measures. Now, Tone Bays was on the streets of now this is, I'm going to tell you about who the girl is in the, we're going to conclude with the girl this week. Who's the girl in the thumbnail with me? I did, someone from my past, obviously a very nice person. I did seal the deal with her. If you're curious, sometimes I say if I failed or I succeeded with her, definitely. Yeah, but I was reminded of her. I put her as the thumbnail this week because of something Tone Bays had. He was in D.C. this week, all right? And he was reporting from, there was protests down there. And I love, because he's in the Bitcoin overlay, he doesn't care about fitting in. He's going to talk about what he's really doing down there and what he believes in, and you don't have to agree with him, but he's not going to get censored. He's not going to get canceled. He's in the Bitcoin overlay, and I like that. And I talked about that on yesterday's show. But there was a video of him walking in nighttime in DC, and you could kind of see it was misty outside, and you could kind of see it was sort of cold. And it reminded me of when I would walk around the Black Cat, which is a club in DC, and there was a time where the night looked exactly like that. Like I could tell, like he's in DC, sort of near the Black Cat. I mean, everything's relatively close to each other there. I don't know exactly where he was walking, but it looked to me like my time in DC when I was at the Black Cat, drunk and womanizing and just partying and having a great time. And that girl was with me at the Black Cat at least once or twice. I don't remember now. And it just was a reminder that, like, it's pathetic now that people are walking around DC instead of freaking partying at the Black Cat and doing what young people do and just being free, that they have to be. And it's great that some people are protesting, but it's a disgrace that DC is shut down, but still nature looks the same. It still looks like winter out there, just like it did when I was partying there. And but now it's just a reminder that live your freaking lives. DC, you're pathetic that everything's shut down there. The people who protested there aren't pathetic. But yeah, so I thought of her, and I thought of being at the Black Cat. And she has black hair in the picture. She's really blonde. She's really blonde. I trust me. I know. Now, all right. So that's it. Oh, one more thing. Kids in America by Kim Wilde. It's from 1981. I linked to the video below. And I also mention it because that song used to be playing at the Auto Bar a lot. And that girl who's in the picture with me, I think she liked that song. She was at the Auto Bar in Baltimore. That's not in D.C. Black Cats in D.C., Auto Bars in Baltimore. I did not go. I didn't party many nights in D.C. because I'm from Baltimore. Auto Bar is basically a Baltimore version of the Black Cat, to put it nicely. And yeah, but that song, "Kids in America," I like that. It's an old song, obviously from before my time, but it would play a lot at the Auto Bar. And it sort of reminds me of that girl in the picture. It's a good. The Kim Wilde was hot back in 1981. It appears it's a good video, good song. I like hearing the song; brings back memories. And let me just see if there are any other questions here. There probably are. Before we end today's show, it's funny. She's British, but she came up with a song called "Kids in America." If you were to guess, what major trends in Bitcoin do you foresee in 2021? Corporatization of it, man. Financialization, making weird financial products around it. I see that as being a big talking point. And just third-party companies that will hold it for you. Bitcoin banks. A lot of things that us hardcore Bitcoin dudes are not into. Like, I'm just a keep it simple guy. Just own your freaking Bitcoin. It's digital gold. It preserves your wealth. I can get it out of countries easily. But, and so financialization of Bitcoin, I understand it's going to happen. Bitcoin banks, I understand it's going to happen. I'm not going to participate in it. But I'm not going to say we should blow it up or destruction. No, there's some people that crave that, there's different players in the market. I used to like chocolate peanut butter ice cream. I didn't like pistachio ice cream. Okay, should pistachio ice cream not exist because I'm a chocolate peanut butter fan? No. Okay, so and I should be happy with my chocolate peanut butter. I'm doing the right thing by me. You do the right thing by you. There's demand for pistachio. There's demand for financialization of it. And no, I have not eaten ice cream in 10 years, and I plan to never eat ice cream again for the rest of my life. I'm AdamMeister because I am hardcore when it comes to health. All right? There's no cheat days in AdamMeister's health plan. And yet, I mean, you're saying, no ice cream for the rest of your life? Yes, no ice cream for the rest of my life. I haven't had it in a decade. Pound that like button. It's not that hard to be healthy. I'm a long-term thinker. I want to live to be freaking 200. I want to live to see the innovators of this world create real life extension technology and be able to take advantage of it. Pound that like button. Click on the squares at the end. I'll be back with the regular One Bitcoin show tomorrow. Thanks a lot, dudes. See you soon.